determined.
You guys need a recess? Or we good to go?
Good to go.
All right. All rise, please, for the pledge.
Dude.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order here. Roll call to determine a quorum. Counselor Baumgartner.
Here.
Ebers is absent. Ferguson is absent. I am here. Patterness.
Here.
We do have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order at 10 minutes after 6 o'clock. Now is the time. We'll engage in our public forum. Members of the public are welcome to address the council regarding city business specifically. We ask that you state your name for the record, and your speaking will be limited to 3 minutes. I do want to invite the public to communicate with our staff at any time. If any specific issues come up or ideas, our staff is very receptive to working with you. And that's probably the best way to get the best answers, is to work with these people who are specializing in the specific issues that you have top of mind. But anyway, if anybody from the public wishes to address the council, now's the time. Not seeing anybody coming forward, so we'll close down the public forum portion of the meeting and make a call to approve tonight's agenda.
Second. So moved. Sorry, I thought I heard Matt say it.
Motion's been made by Patterness, seconded by Baumgartner to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move down to the agenda's been approved. We'll move down to the consent agenda, which includes our minutes from the last meeting. Resolution for gambling for Capital Days, Inc. Confirmation of appointment to the Planning Commission to Mary Jo Halliday, and our December disbursements. I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Baumgartner, seconded by Patterness to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Consent agenda carries. We'll move down into discussion items. We have received a request from the Works Department to replace aged snow plow, and we are here to learn a little more about it.
Great. So the city of Olivia currently has 3 snowplow trucks and 1 road grader that our public works teams utilizes to plow the city streets. So using these 4 automobiles and a grader, it takes an average of 8 to 9 hours to plow the city. And so we currently have 3 trucks, as I mentioned. One is 2004, which is what we're looking to replace. One is from 2010 and one was purchased in 2020. They are looking to replace the 2004 truck with the exact same truck that was purchased in 2020. This will allow efficiencies. So the parts that you need to replace on like the 2020, like a filter and things like that, they'll be able to stockpile those parts so that they serve 2 of the same trucks. The 2020 truck, just to give you some historical knowledge, when we bought the 2020 truck, it was about $117,000 and change. So, 3-4 years later, we're looking to buy the same truck, and it's obviously a lot more than that. We do have money allocated in the CIP for the snowplow. Currently in our savings, we have $121,766. In 2024, we will be adding $42,000 to that. And in 2025, we'll be adding another $42,000 to that. So the total that we will have saved for the snowplow is around $205,766. The price tag of the vehicle with trade-in is $209,454. So we're at a shortfall of just under $4,000. Because the reason this timeline is spread out is because equipment takes a long time to get. So if we were to move forward with this request and order the truck tomorrow, the earliest that we would receive the truck is late summer, early fall. So that would be in the 2024 budget. The body of the truck would be 15 to 18 months out. So that would be in the 2025 budget. So that's why we would be spreading out this item. The shortfall that we would have, we could make up for it in future years, or we could pull from it from other contributions, look at the public works budget to see what we could maybe take that funds for. This new truck also has a larger box on the back, which will help us haul more snow from the city, which would mean that you don't have to contract as much with other vendors. When we have a lot of snow, we'll have a better capacity to haul the snow away. It's not just in use during the snowy season, it'll also be used in the off season to haul tar from Chaska, to haul gravel, along with brush pickup. And I would note, so this truck is 20 years old. This truck will have to be replaced eventually. So whether we replace it today, if that's not something council feels comfortable with, the same request is going to come up next year to replace a truck. It's had some issues with the transmission, with kicking into gear, with staying in gear. So this request won't go away. However, the price of a truck will increase, as well as the amount that we would get for a trade-in value would probably decrease the more wear and tear that we put on the truck. I'm happy to discuss more in details. We have Jesse here from Public Works who can go even further in details. I've been kind of studying up on snowplows today. So what questions may we answer?
Jesse, can you tell us about this truck? Yeah, come on up. Or you can shout from back there.
It's more comfortable up here.
So you're asking about the truck that we're trying to purchase?
No, the one you're trying to, the one that's up for removal.
Replacing.
Were you able to find more of those numbers for repair costs?
Yes, the repair cost that we've spent on the 2004 truck in the past 2 years is just over $12,000 to repair the truck.
So part of that is, like a lot of the issues that we had been having are still there. They haven't really gone away. It sometimes it just does not run good. Takes a while to start up, takes a while to actually get running good to take off. Just this morning when I tried driving it, it doesn't shift into gear. So you gotta go through the rigmarole of resetting that. Well, not necessarily resetting, but you just got to restart the vehicle or shut it down and restart it. But it's obviously malfunctioning somewhere. So, I mean, some of this stuff too, like you come across on equipment, it could just be a faulty wire someplace that's causing this. But you could spend a week in labor paying somebody to trace that wire back. Or you could just live with it, and when it faults and you can't, there's nothing you can do about it because you don't know where exactly that wire would be shorting. So, it's not the most dependable vehicle. And so I guess that's why we're just trying to.
Your interpretation then, would you say the smart money is to not keep investing in this 2004?
Right. So like Elizabeth mentioned, we still could possibly have 1.5 years left of band-aiding this vehicle. So yeah, at some point you got to cut ties, and I think we're kind of to that point.
You could use all 3 trucks during a snow event.
Yep.
With all 3 trucks in the road grader, that's the 8 to 9 hours. So that's 4 people. So if you remove one, you're adding that much time. Yeah, so.
It's 20 years old.
We typically have a rotation of 15 years for these types of vehicles. The reason we are out of rotation right now is because the 2008 truck was worse. And so that's what the city purchased in 2020. And so that is why we are out of rotation. We try to stick on rotation because we don't want to come into a situation where you have bought 3 new trucks back to back, and then you have to do in 20 years 3 new trucks again.
Yeah.
So we are trying to appropriately budget for these items and to keep them in rotation. So we're not just piling up all the
Stay here.
costs at once.
Can you go over the numbers again too? So that the truck total cost of the truck is
The
$209,000.
price tag of the vehicle, because that included the trade-in of 25,000. So I had the price tag of the vehicle 209,454. And so currently in our CIP, which is designated for equipment replacements, Sean says we have 121,766. Now in 2024, we will allocate this year 42,000. And then in 2025, we will allocate another 42,000. That's what's currently projected for the 2025 budget.
42,000, 25 is 42,000?
Yes.
Another 84 in 2 years?
Yeah.
Over 2 years.
And the CIP fund is specifically for big ticket purchases.
Big
right?
ticket equipment purchases, there's part of that CIP fund, which is just designated for snowplows equipment. And so that's what is, that 121 is designated for snowplows.
Oh, okay.
So if we were to buy a new truck, we'd use all that 121 straight away? Or would we, because you said you could buy the truck and then the body? It's-
Correct, the truck and then the body. So you have two different quotes in there. So we would do the Windstar. Did I say that right? The Windstar.
Star.
Yeah, the truck and then the body is Christeel. And so one of the reasons we want to go with Christeel for the body is because they will allow us to trade it in without impacting our own snow operations. So depending upon your trade-in, they might just take the whole truck from you, including the truck and the body. And Christeel won't do that, so that we'll still have the old truck and body to use before the new truck and body are ready to go. So we're trying to make sure that we're not taking our equipment out,
Completely on the
yeah,
service.
out of service before we get the replacement in.
How long has this 2010 got left in it?
I mean, right now it's running good, so I can't say much, but yeah, I mean, it's got years in it yet.
2 years too, right?
Yeah, so we're hoping that we can get another 3-5 years out of that one because it's reliable and it seems to be going well.
Enough to CIP it. Okay.
They keep budgeting for that.
So the Christeel, would they provide just the body or is that the truck and the body?
Christeel is the body, the truck is the Western Star.
Okay.
And the truck, as I understand it, we would get still within this year. And then the body, we're anticipating we'd receive it in 2025.
You just throw plow on that truck then without the body?
We wouldn't get that in
No.
total until
Oh,
we trade it.
Yep. Plow was part of that too.
It's basically useless until you get the stuff. Okay.
This is what I've learned.
Once it's delivered, we'd have to pay for it. And that cost was 125 or something.
So the Western Star, the truck is 123,897. The Christeel body is 110,557. And then the Public Works plans to trade in the 2004 snowplow truck to Christeel for 25,000.
Subtract that 25,000 is how you get to the 209.
Yes, correct. And I will say, so when we traded in the 2008 in 2020, we only got 20,000 for that vehicle for trade-in.
You said it was worse.
Mhm.
Well, I'll just share my thoughts. In general, I would like to space out further this
Okay.
between buying equipment because that's gonna. And, you know, there's instances where the 2008 truck was, you know, really compromised, then, you know, okay, maybe you can't always hit the
Yeah.
schedule, but what I'm hearing is 2004 truck works, but you're not excited about how it works. Like you're just worried that it might not work.
We're compromising overtime in it too, if he's having trouble keeping it running and having to shut it down so that it ships appropriately, then there's a cost to that too, to consider.
Yeah, what I'm trying to bear in mind is all the pieces of equipment we have to replace. You know, and so we're doing a better job with budgeting, and so it's good that we have a reasonable amount of money set aside and nearly enough in 2 more years to cover it all.
Mhm.
Would we have to take out a loan then into
To cover the 4,000?
Yeah.
No.
for like a half a year or whatever?
No. There's other funds there, so we could also, knowing that this is coming up, the 2025 budget hasn't been set yet. We could budget that in for 2025. We could also look at, I know Public Works save some money on mowers.
Mhm.
So we could look at different areas of the Public Works CIP allocations to see if there was a spot to cover that shortfall of the $4,000.
I mean, what I'm worried about though is when we did the budgeting this year, we don't have enough money to meet our budget. So we can budget things, but if there's no money behind it, then we're not really doing ourselves any favors. So
I would like to note on your side, you said you would like to space purchases out more. In talking with the dealership, he said a lot of towns and counties are trying to tighten that gap because of the electrical systems on these trucks are so much more complicated, and the emission standards that are getting rammed down our throats they're not good on the trucks. So like to alleviate all these problems, they're just getting rid of them sooner because the actual life expectancy of the trucks is getting shortened.
so 2004 is before the urea issue where you gotta.
Right, but you're talking going ahead. And so I don't know if that's a good way to look at
But, I mean,
that.
but you don't have, these are grandfathered in, you don't have to retrofit these to meet emission standards that came after their manufacturer.
Oh, but, okay, that's fine.
Including this one right here.
Yeah, so I don't know if, I mean, I don't know if, well, now's not the time to talk about that, I guess, but I don't think it's something that we can really look at trying to get more life out.
So have you talked to TBI about what trade-in value of our current vehicle would be?
The only people that would give us trade-in would be, so Freightliner and Western Star are through the same dealerships. They would trade in and Tri-Steel. Nobody else, J-Craft or I'm sorry, that's TBEI. TBEI and Tollmaster do not do trade-ins.
I guess. Is there really a lot of efficiency gains by, paying $7,000-8,000 more for the same brand truck? I mean, you only have two of them, or you have three.
Well, we have, so this will be the second Western Star, yeah. Well, so it also comes down to the timing. Freightliners are further out, thus pushing this whole timeline back and potential repair costs on the truck that we do have. So between that and like the Western Stars, they're just built different. They're just a better truck altogether. So it's kind of like a pay for what you get kind of deal.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
We got 120, call it 122 now. And when would the first bill come due if we ordered this truck? It would be a year and a half to get in the truck and then we do the body after?
The truck is probably late summer, early fall this year in 2024. And then the body is 15 to 18 months, so in 2025.
So we would have in 6 months or whenever that truck, we would have enough cash to pay for it. So we wouldn't be
Yes.
going backwards there necessarily.
Correct.
But then we'd have to be banking up the rest of the budgeted money for
Correct.
the box or whatever. the
Yes,
body.
yep. But when the bill came due sometime in 2024, we would have enough money in the CIP snowplow fund for the truck. And then the body in 2025, we would be just under 4,000 short. And again, when I talked to Sean, he said, you know, we can take the shortfall from a different public works CIP item. So the shortfall I calculated out to be $3,688. There's no loan the city would have to do for
That- I mean,
that
that's good.
shortfall.
That's good. I'm thinking about fire trucks. And then, you know, when the lawnmowers were replaced and it did great on the lawnmowers. That was, that was a nice one. And we've got any number of other pieces of equipment that I don't have a good handle on when they're coming due and what we have budgeted for all of them. So for me to be comfortable voting yes on this, I want more breadth of information about the finances and the equipment needs that are rolling forward. And then I want to look at what can we spread out reasonably so that we reduce our overall spend every year on these things.
I mean, I understand that, and I'm happy to get more information on the breadth of our equipment and timetables and stuff like that. I do think equipment's not gonna get cheaper. Like, I think if we're thinking that direction, costs of equipment, costs of materials are going to go up year after year. I agree, having a budget and trying to make sure that we are spreading those out is the most responsible way, because the fire is a great example. They've replaced trucks, boom, 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 and that's really hurting the budget at this moment, which is what we're trying not to do with this example here.
Yeah, but I'm just, I really appreciate that Public Works has this money set aside, but I'm looking at a holistic, Olivia, not just one department. And I'm worried about where we're not funded well, like for the fire trucks, right? We don't have enough there for taking care of those needs. I know that. And so I want to get a better understanding of all the equipment needs across the city, especially with the new city hall project that's coming on and adding on that additional financial burden. I think we have to be careful, and I don't want to be making it so that people can't do their jobs. So don't get me wrong there. I don't want to make it more difficult to get jobs done, but I do want to carefully make these decisions.
As you're going through your decision-making process, I want you to consider what a transmission failure does to our ability to move snow, and our ability to maximize the productivity out of our staff.
It is a risk. I can acknowledge that. It is.
And along with that, getting tar from Chaska, we have a breakdown there. Now we got 8 or 9 loads of tar in the back that we can't do anything with. That if you want to come down with a sledgehammer and pick it out someday.
Yeah, I understand. But I also understand that new things break too.
Oh, I wouldn't argue that, but less of a chance.
So if we can get a better list of equipment inventory as well as estimated replacement timelines, I don't want to promise any piece of equipment at a timeline if something catastrophic happens to a piece of equipment. So I think there needs to be some understanding that with the equipment inventory as well as projected timelines, that these things could change because it's an open nature process. Mother Nature is cruel, I have experienced this week with her cold. Would you reconsider this agenda item for next council meeting in February?
Absolutely.
With more information that I would reconsider. Yes, that's actually kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Or are we just gonna put everybody's budgets together and just have a one and done here around, or?
To that point, we've been saving specifically for this
For
purpose.
snowplows.
Like, this one is right on track, and we are within the window of when we thought we'd replace this. It's 5 years after the last purchase. Like, this is perfectly on schedule, because effectively this won't be in service until middle to end of 2025.
Yeah.
After you get the box. and-
Worst case scenario, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like we're expecting to pay this bill until 2025 for the final part, for the body and the stuff to actually put the vehicle in service, so.
Mhm.
As much as I was gonna come beat up on them for not taking the lowest bid, because that's exactly what I'd love to do, no. I feel like this is being responsible. They saved up for it. They know what the bill's gonna come due in 2025, and they're gonna have all except $3,000 for it. Like, I'm not seeing the problem with this purchase at all right now. As far as the fire department goes, they're making their own decisions on stuff. Plus, we've already acknowledged we need to fund them better, and I agree that there are areas where we have shortfalls, but this isn't one of them. This one was planned out properly from the get-go, as far as I'm concerned. So I think, we need all three of us to vote yes on this. So Matt, if you're not comfortable, we gotta table it, but,
Is that true, Pam?
or do we only need two of
No,
us?
You have a quorum present with 3, so it'd be a majority of the quorum.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. So I feel like this purchase in particular, since it's been budgeted for the way it has been, we'd be fine going forward with it. And I get where you're coming from with the other needs and everything, Matt, but I feel like we're not gonna do ourselves any favors by pushing this off and running a risk of the vehicle. It's already running roughly the way it is.
Well,
And
in fairness, I don't think that 2 weeks is gonna make a material difference on the delivery time for this thing.
I don't either, but the facts aren't gonna change either.
Some of these trucks go by slots too, so if somebody else votes for our slot, then we are out.
Doesn't say state bid slotting is a problem because we run into that at the county all the time. 'Cause I think this would be off state, but the prices look pretty
Correct.
close.
Yep.
There are only so many allotted to the state per year. Like, this isn't to go to the dealer and grab one off the lot type deal. This is you get a discounted price because you're buying 300 of them across the state. And so pick one if you can. I have no idea what their allotment is. They could have a ton left for this year, but I know that we at the county are planning these out 2 years in advance. At the same way.
Do you feel it's risky to wait to get this information?
I don't think it's risky. I don't think we're gonna gain any knowledge in the next 2 weeks. So what's the point of delaying? It'd be a risk that I don't think we need to take, even if it's a small risk. And I mean, if there's one person that's harped on the budget for the past 3 years around here, it's up to you guys. I just see no point in waiting on this, because like I said, they answered my question with, especially the trade-in, if you knock $25,000 off the price, it becomes the cheapest one of the bunch. Granted, I'm sure you could put it up on public auction and get something for a 2004, but I don't know what it is. I'd have to look back at a lot of different things to even have a good guess on that.
And I hear what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree, but what I don't have is all the information on the rest of this stuff and have a better understanding of what else is coming down the pike. And I don't feel like we're risking too much by waiting 2 more weeks.
This money that we're talking about is specifically set aside for snowplows,
Yep.
right? So it's not the total amount that we have in our CIP. We have different allocations in the CIP designated for different equipment. So I hear what you're saying about the fire department and other equipment needs. All of those have their own slice of the CIP, what is saved for and what is budgeted for. So where I can't speak to timelines in the exact budget, what water has allocated for equipment, as a city as a whole, we are saving up for these types of purchases to be able to cover them when we do space them out. So this is now will be due 5 years after our 2024. So we are spacing out to the best of our ability.
It's kind of a public finance question, if you know anything about it. Would you consider it inappropriate to use snowplow CIP money for other major expenditures?
No, it's just all allocated. We can
Sure.
do that however we feel like it.
Shifting
It's not,
around.
it's not restricted in any way.
Okay.
It's probably not even considered committed by that standard.
All right.
So it'd be fine. Like, if we were to decide that, no, we're replacing every 6 years, so wait till 2026, we'd be well within our rights to do that.
The price would probably go up, though.
Right, and I don't know how wise that would be to begin with, so
If the
And that's just-
transmission's failing, we gotta,
that's just
That's it.
my opinion on this one.
then you're starting to look at smart money, you know.
Which, I mean, we're running the risk of whatever happening to the truck, no matter what, for the
Sure.
next 18 months, so that's neither here nor there at this point. It's just whether we start 2024, 25 winter with it or not. I guess it'd be 2025, 26 winter, probably.
Well, and see, so fire trucks is an example. We're underfunded on those, right? But I don't know by how much.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
trying
that
to stretch
this
a dollar.
this does sound like a part of a broader budget discussion that, you know, this is one bucket there, but this does sound like council would like to have a broader discussion on equipment inventory and needs, which we're happy to facilitate if that's part of a broader discussion you'd like to have.
And I agree that that discussion needs to be had, and we should have that from staff, get an idea of where we are at with these savings accounts and stuff. I just feel like it's out of the scope of this conversation a little bit since.
I mean, this one looks like we're in pretty good shape, but I don't know how bad out of shape we are in other areas.
You're
And
asking
should-
if
and
this,
Should this money be allocated somewhere else because it's more important elsewhere?
I feel like that a snowplow truck gets used pretty often.
I don't disagree, but what I don't know is what else is coming up. That's where I'm hung up. I don't have an idea of what's next.
It's another wise consideration is that this might be one of the most important pieces of equipment in our fleet.
Say, judging by last winter, how many calls I got when the plows didn't run when there's this much snow. I'm thinking people would mind if this truck broke down and their road wasn't done. So
You guys take action, I'll respond accordingly.
I move to approve the purchase of this truck.
There a second?
Well, you can second. I mean, I'm not trying to influence any of the, but just so you know, you can second if you want.
Motion's on the table, made by Patternus to move forward with the purchase of the snowplow truck as presented. Seconded by Hawkinson. Any further discussion?
Just that I would like more information before I could get behind voting yes. So
Excellent. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
right.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. All right, do we have any reports from staff?
Just a friendly reminder that we have our comprehensive plan, still looking for public comments. And as the mayor mentioned, the city does have a YouTube channel now where we will be posting our council meetings moving forward. We're not taking away posting it from any of the other previously posted venues. Just another way that we can communicate with residents and make sure that residents are staying involved and engaged.
All right, wonderful. Any other reports from staff? Been quiet out there, chief?
We don't use that word.
That's right. All right, any reports from council?
Well, on page 75 of reviewing the comprehensive plan.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were gonna say page 75 of the packet. I was like, I didn't think it was that long this week. Okay.
Any word on the pool?
Nothing from the past week or two that I can
There
remember.
was a photo of Blanca by it. It
There
looks
is a
like it has
photo of
water.
in it, yeah.
It's very green water at this
And
point,
very
so
green.
I'm guessing
need
there's some
chemicals.
chemicals and used to have to go in there.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could find someone around my life that knows how to talk about pools, so maybe I'll ask them about green water pools.
All right. Any other notices and communications? Okay,
Winter warm up at the end of the month.
that's right.
Sorry, winter warm up on Friday,
26th.
January 26th. There you
And
go.
what is that?
That is with the Sons of the American Legion, the Chamber, as well as the Olivia Liquor Store. It's a fun social event where you get to try, as I understand it, different cocktails and things like that. You can get your tickets at the Olivia Liquor Store. I'm very excited to go.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, I have been to that. Now that you.
I haven't. So I was taking a stab at what I'd heard.
You're gonna love it. All right. We are going to move into a closed session now, so I want to thank everybody. I believe I got to sign something from you, is that right? All right, before we move into closed session, maybe I'll sign that for you quick. We have a representative here from Bold Schools doing some work, doing an assignment, and he needs proof that he attended a council meeting. This one was fiery. I can tell your teacher was fiery.
Lots of good information.
Well, you learned a lot about open meeting law.
I did.
You guys doing Robert's rules and all that?
I think we got past that now, but
Yeah.
we're just about to the end of the quarter, so.
Who's the professor?
Mr. Ellis. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
And then was there a discussion regarding the alley?
For tonight? No,
Okay, I was told it was on the agenda. That's why I came.
no, this agenda has been set since Thursday when it was set out, and the alley has never been listed on this agenda.
These are these.
I had talked to Darren and he said he was gonna circle back with me, but I never got a communication from Darren.
Darren indicated that you were adding it to this council meeting.
Then there was a misunderstanding between the conversation between Darren.
Regarding the building and the.
Yeah, yeah, he had mentioned that it was being discussed at the Olivia board meeting and
Thank
then
you,
he was
Ross.
gonna let me know what was going on. If I gave the impression I was putting on an agenda, then that is my mistake, but that was never part of the discussion. But let me give you my card so that we can meet to chat. My apologies then. Thank you.
Thanks, Darla.
And we're still public meeting right now, right?
Yes.
So are we looking at changing the buildable size lot in town too? Because we're kind of prohibitively high
Yes,
later.
yes, it's on the radar. Yep.
All right. I'm gonna close this meeting here in accordance with Minnesota statute 13.05D subdivision 3C1. This is a discussion regarding appraisals and asking prices for possible sale of real property. ID numbers. Do I gotta do the ID numbers and everything, Pam? Yeah. Okay. Correct me if I get this wrong, guys.
All right, I'm following along.
35-05260000, 35-0526-1-00, 35-0527-5-00, and 35-0525-00. Okay, we're coming out of close.
Established.
Coming out of closed session, here where we, had conversation and made direction to staff discussing, asking prices for the possible sale of real property. Do I have to do the property ID numbers again? All right. And, okay, call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Patterson, seconded by Baumgartner to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.